Hi, I'm Sam, and this is Zeb, and this is our journal of the technology practice cycle when we created the spare tyre.
The task required us to work in pairs through the technology practice cycle. We needed to investigate a need that was clearly identified, and then come up with a solution, followed by the making of the product.
Over the course of the technology practice cycle, me and Zeb met up on many occasions and investigated the problem and then examined possible solutions. Through this stage we gathered information and then started researching.
The next stage of the technology practice cycle was ideation. We started by generating ideas and talking about the pluses, minuses and interestings of each product. We then started planning and followed this by the designing of the product.
The next stage was the production. With the research we had done, we started creating our prototypes. We created 4 different alternative prototypes through the developing of the product, and we critically analysed each one, doing PMIs on all of them.
The next stage was to put our prototypes through the testing phase whilst analysing them. We also consulted various professionals on the matter. After the information was evaluated, we then started the production of the spare tyre.
We finally made our finished product. This is our movie journal of the technology practice cycle, investigation to evaluation.
The design of the spare tyre. Firstly, to define the term technology. Technology is a form of knowledge that enables you to create. Meeting 1. Meeting 1 was based around the discussing of the ideas for a totally new invention or to make something already on the market better. Sam and I had a few ideas which were improving the slide bait fishing clip, making a bait launcher for surf fishing and improving the thong saver design.
In the end, we decided we would settle on the thong saver design because of its simplicity and how practical it was. The decision was then made that it would be a good idea to do some initial research on the product, to find out what was already out there on the market and to find out if there was an actual need for the product. Meeting 2. The problem we wanted to address was the dreaded thong blowout, which is a common problem with all thongs on the market today. After much research and thoughts about the idea of the product, Zeb and I found that there were products already on the market that were similar. Because of this, we had to think about what we could do to make these products better and more customer appealing. The first product on the market had 2 downfalls. Firstly, the product was bulky and thick under the thong, and secondly, that when your thong blew out, it required you to go to the shop to buy either new thongs or a thong saver product to fix the thong.
This meant people were more likely to throw their thongs out and buy new ones. This was adding to the current problem faced in some countries around the world, where thongs are becoming a severe pollution threat. The thongs are taken around the world in the currents of the ocean and are being washed up on the beaches. Following this, it was decided that the design would have to already come with or be in the thong. Then the idea of embedding the product into the back of the thong was generated. Furthermore, the design would allow the user to fix the thongs on the run, thus reducing thong pollution in the world. To conclude this meeting, Sam and I were required to think of some design that would fit and be slim enough to not look like part of the thong. Meeting 3 was when Sam and I met to discuss the prototype designs. These will be referenced in the movie. We had now come up with the prototyped idea, so it was time to find a suitable material to use. The first material investigated was a hard type plastic and was too thick and stiff. This led to it being felt on the sole of your foot and became uncomfortable to walk on.
The second material we investigated was to cut out an old water bottle and use that material. We were aiming at the product being environmentally friendly. This product was much better, but it did have some minuses. It was much too stiff and could also be felt on the sole of the foot. So to sum up this meeting, Zeb and I discussed that the next meeting would be all about what sort of materials would be suitable for making the product, as these first two materials were too stiff. This would be followed by a discussion of how to create a slot to keep the thong saver design in place in the thong. Meeting 4. Zeb and I were further researching suitable materials to make the thong saver design. The third design was to use the same water bottle used before and redesign the shape of the product. This was much better design this time and was much more secure on the thong. The only downfall was that it could still be felt when someone was walking along in the thong. The final material that was going to be used was a tough, flexible rubber. This enabled the material to not be felt by the person wearing the thong, to be completely comfortable to the thong. Following these discussions, we went to Bunnings to look for some material, as Zeb had found a suitable material that he had used on a previous project. It was a plumbing supply piece of material that was the perfect compound. See picture on the movie.
Sam and I also talked about how we were going to store the thong saver design in the thong. After thinking about a few design thoughts, the only practical design was to embed the thong saver design into the rear of the thongs. This would make the design look slimmer and would be extremely easy to access. With further evaluation of the product, we came up with a problem. How were we not only going to get the saver in the thong, but how were we going to get it to stay in place? Okay, first of all, we started with some hacking of the thong with a Stanley knife. See the PowerPoint for a picture. This worked but made the product look untidy. Furthermore, this now gave us the task of trying to make a slot to keep the saver, as the previous slot was not suitable. Sam came up with an idea for a tool to make a neat slot in the rear of the thong. See the tool on the PowerPoint for reference. Sam had designed the tool to perform the task in a fast yet clean fashion.
Once we had come up with the final material and design of the product we were going to make, we tested it out on some thongs to see if it would have any minuses to fix. There just happened to be a problem that would arise when the actual spare would twist around the bottom of the thong, and sometimes it would come free. This problem needed to be addressed and a solution needed to be identified. The solution that I came up with was to use some part of a double-sided tape to secure the spare tyre to the bottom of the thong so it would not come free.
Meeting 5, the final product. The whole focus of this meeting was to make the final product and make it look neat and tidy. The shape was then cut out with scissors, but these come out fairly rough. Following this, Sam said, "Why don't we make a punch?" He said the punch would make it a lot easier to make the product out of various materials, and this could then be followed up with some research and phases of testing to see if the product, the tool, would make it on an industrial level. The double-sided tape would then be added on and the final product would be finished.
We had one more meeting and had to design the marketing of the product. So we created the background for the package and bags for holding the spares. Then the packaging was complete. We then put the slot into the back of the thong with the tool that I had created. Then I inserted the spare into the back of the thong. This made the spare tyre ready for market.
Following the sale of our product, we took the feedback given by the professionals regarding the improvements to the design of the spare tyres. Additionally, we will be investigating materials and designing the tool to make the spare and the slot on mass production scale.
So this was the creation of the spare tyre using the technology practice cycle, investigation to evaluation by Samuel Owen and Zeb Martin-Teale. Thank you.